What's going on, Phoenicians? Today I'm going to tell you about some things that might help you while you're in Japan. And I just kind of thought of this at the very last second because I realized, oh my god, it's 5 o'clock. I didn't edit a video today. I know how you guys like it when I do daily uploads. But I'm going to tell you guys 5 apps that you guys should use on your phone. I have a very wide variety of apps on here, and there's a few that are very useful for me. And it's just for a variety of reasons, not for any specific purpose, but in case you need to do something, go somewhere, you want to learn about the news in Japan, or you need to translate something, there's a few apps that I highly suggest that you guys download for your phones. Now these are all for iOS, and I really don't know if they have them on the Google Play thingy, but in all honesty, it might be a good investment if you just look out for it. And if you can find anything similar, of course, it'd be very useful. So number 5 would be the JR East app. I don't know if you can see that or not. This is actually, right now it's only in Japanese. They do have an English version that is lacking quite a bit. But if you can read Japanese, no problem. If there's a train delay, like you see this right here, there's 3 delays on here. If there's a train delay, you'll know about it. It's very useful, and it gives you the reason why there's a train delay. Of course, it's only in Japanese. But if you understand Japanese, this is perfectly fine. So, the 3 delays it shows are Shonan Shinjuku Line, Yokosuka Line, and Joban Line. And it tells you the reason why and all that kind of stuff, right? This is very useful to have in case your train stops, all of a sudden you don't know what's going on. And you see that all of a sudden, oh my god, my train's delayed. It doesn't just show JR East either, it shows subways as well. And the Shinkansen, of course. Which is, the one going towards Osaka's JR Central. But also on this app, you might not notice this, they have Resha something. I can't read it in Japanese, but it's ironically I have the app. It shows the position of some of the trains. So like right here it says the Shonan Shinjuku Line. It has the I'll take a screenshot of this. I'll post it on Twitter. It shows that the Shonan Shinjuku Line is 17 minutes delayed. You can figure out where the delay is. So yeah, right here it shows you where it's positioned. So this is a very useful app. I highly recommend it. And if you read Japanese, no problem. They do have an English version, but it's really not the best, and it's slightly lacking. But it still is the app, and it has the train information as well. So that's a good app. Number 4 is youre. Youre is this thing right here. I posted a few screenshots on Twitter a while ago. Whenever there's an earthquake that happens, this is in English and it's perfectly translated, no problem. If there's an earthquake, you definitely want to have this app. So it shows you where the earthquake is, how strong it is, the magnitude, and the shindo level. The shindo level is the degree of shaking that you notice, and typically anything above shindo 3 is quite noticeable. Shindo 5 minus, from shindo 5 minus onwards, you might want to check your apartment for damage or for fallen objects. If you remember the earthquake vlog from last year, when I was recording and all of a sudden an earthquake hit, and that's partially why my channel exploded. That was a Shindo 4. So if you remember that video, here's the video right here. You can go ahead and click on that later. That was a Shindo 4 here in Shibuya itself. So, if you know that earthquakes can be Shindo 4, then it's very, well, then you have to prepare yourself for shaking, right? And of course it shows you the location and the various Shindo levels for various locations as well. So it's a very useful app, I think. Number 3 is Twitter. Now you might not be, a lot of you guys, especially if you're, subscribed to me, you might have a Twitter and you follow me on Twitter, but the reason why I highly suggest Twitter is because getting the news about something, especially like an accident or, train accident, a big, news subject like the North Korean launch, or if you see something outside and it's on fire, you don't know what's going on, Twitter is actually a really good source of news, surprisingly enough. And if you read Japanese, that is actually very useful because a lot of the times you're not going to hear about news in Japan from NHK, like if you have NHK's service or something like that, you're not going to hear about that immediately. If you have Twitter, it might not be as accurate, but you'll have a general idea of what's going on. I mean, if you notice a bunch of people posting the same thing, then you're like, oh, then this must be what's going on. So Twitter in Japan is extremely useful, especially if you know how to read Japanese, because it's just, everything's just posted right there. It's very easy to understand. Now, if you don't read Japanese, but you do want to read Japanese Twitter, number 2 is another thing I highly suggest. Imiwa, right here. A lot of you guys have Imiwa. It's very, very useful. It's a dictionary. It's a dictionary application. So what you do is you take, one of the things that you could do actually is you could take, let's see, okay, I'm gonna screenshot this and post it on Twitter. This thing about the Tokaido Sanyo-sen, this is looks like it's in around Kobe. You copy the tweet itself, you copy like the text of the tweet, then it automatically translates it for you. And you're able to, it's not like a Google Translate because you have to like scroll through here and read everything, but it translates it word for word, so you get a more accurate translation. And you can also teach yourself Japanese words. I mean, a lot of the words, a lot of the vocabulary I have in Japanese comes from simply translating Twitter using Imiwa. And it's extremely useful, and it helps me, helps me learn, it helps me keep myself updated knowledgeably, right? So I highly recommend Imiwa. It's free, it's totally free, and it's very, very useful. Finally, number 1 is Line, and I guess I really shouldn't say it's useful, but more Japanese people have Line than they have Facebook. And Line is, sometimes you see people playing the Line games, but Line is pretty much a free chat thing. And if you're living in Japan for a long time, get your parents to get Line as well, because every so often I can call my parents from just using Line. I don't have to pay anything, except if I'm outside I have to use data, obviously, right? But if I'm in here where I have Wi-Fi, it's a free call abroad, right? It's so awesome. And if you're going to be living here for a long time, I highly suggest you get Line, because every friend you'll make will have Line. And like I said, get all your friends back in the States to get Line as well. So if you want to call them, it's free. Well, for you, if you're in a place that has Wi-Fi, right? So Line is extremely useful in that regard. I mean, sometimes people use Line to play shitty games. I don't blame them, because sometimes those games are very addictive. Very useful app, especially if you're intending on making a lot of friends, staying here for a very long time. I actually don't make phone calls at all with this thing. I mean, rarely do I make phone calls. I mean, I probably made more phone calls in the last month than I did my entire life here in Japan, because I was corresponding with a TV studio for a while. That should show you how useful Line is, because if I need to call someone, I'll call them online. If I want to call my parents, I'll call them online. My parents are back in the States. If I want to call a friend to hang out, well, I usually text them first, then we'll call and figure out where we're going, right? So that's why it's very useful, and I highly suggest it anyway. So just a reminder, I'm not sponsored by any of the companies that I'm featuring here. I'm just thinking these apps are very useful. And if you want to see these screenshots more up close and personal, follow my Twitter. I posted all the screenshots that I featured in this video down there on Twitter, and you guys could see them for yourself and kind of understand what I'm getting at for a lot of the things here. So hope this was very informative and helpful for you guys, and I hope you leave a like on this video and be sure to subscribe. I'm almost at 800 likes, or 800 subscribers, which is impressive. Really impressive. The channel's grown a lot recently, so I'm quite happy. And you guys are, you guys are to blame for my growth. I'm blaming you guys. But as always, I will see you on the next video. Take it easy, Phoenicians.
When once was a lad of 22, I fell upon my way. My life devoid of meaning, and my conscience led astray. Till a wise man took me by the hand and said, "Lad, you're in luck. The only way to salvation lies in the palace of Alabaster."